I'm getting going live. Okay, guys, hi! Welcome to our Google Hangout. I'm Susan Berkley, live from the studios at the Great Voice Company in Englewood Cliffs, New Jersey. I'm so happy you're joining me here today. I love doing these Google Hangouts because they're so much fun, but they're a little weird because I can't see you, but you can see me. Nevertheless, I know you're there, and I'm so happy you took time out of your busy day to join me today. So the name of our event today is called The Three Laws of Voiceover Success. What's working now and what's hidden from newcomers. And so I'm going to take you through these. We're going to have a little bit of fun. I've got some fun giveaways like this really cool microphone for the best question that gets asked, and these other little microphone pins. So when you ask a question, you'll get a chance to win one of these. So get ready. And the way this is going to work is if you have a question for me, I'm wanting you to please email it in to info@greatvoice.com, and Christina will take your question and she'll hand it over to me and I'll answer right here live on the air. And Mark is also standing by if you want to call if you have questions about anything at all relating to what we do for you here at the Great Voice Company. So I'm doing this hangout because for the past week or so I've launched a whole bunch of videos for you which are excerpts, actually highlights from my Inner Game of Voiceover Marketing and Mindset conference that we did last year. It was a huge success, and I just figured that you might enjoy some of the excerpts of that because I know a lot of you couldn't make it. Maybe we didn't even know each other back then. And so I put some of those excerpts up for you over the past week or so, and the response was huge. People were commenting like crazy on social media, saying how much they enjoyed them and how much they loved that piece of it, and how I am the one that sort of tells it like it is when it comes to really building a voiceover business. And I figured, let me go live today so that we can interact a little bit, because whether you've watched my videos or not, you probably have some questions specific to you and your voiceover business. We could meet each other, we could have a little bit of fun, and I want to actually go a little bit deeper with these concepts that I want to share today. So let's get started right now, and I want to start off by talking about the number one career-killing mistake I see newcomers making when they are starting their voiceover business. And I don't want this to happen to you, because almost everybody without exception makes this mistake, and it really will shorten your time to market and even suppress the results you get, because you probably want results, right? You want work, you want to get your voice on television, on radio, on non-broadcast productions. Maybe you want to do audiobooks, maybe you want to do video games. There are 14 niche voiceover markets. We're going to talk a little bit about those too. But the number one career-killing mistake, and we did send you a handout. If you check your email, because if you registered, we did put this handout in your email, and it is right here on the Google Hangout page, so you can download it as well, so you can kind of follow along. So the number one career-killing mistake I see newcomers making is that they don't understand a fundamental key point of marketing, which is the who is more important than the what. So you can write that right down in your handout. The who is more important than the what, and I will explain to you. So the who is the voice buyer, the person you are ultimately marketing your services to. The what is you and everything that you give them. And so I see this all the time. So for example, let's say that you wanted to get started in, you wanted to do wanted to play a sport, say like golf. So what do most people do? They go out and they're going to buy all the golf clubs. They might buy their little golf hat, their little golf outfit, you know, if you're a woman, and getting themselves ready to play golf. And it's kind of like that back to school mentality. So you're starting school, first day of school, what do? You want to make sure you have all the right little pencils. You know, from when we were kids, we were trained to do that. And mom takes us out and we get our clothes. And, you know, for us as girls during the time when I grew up, it was always like a little plaid dress or a little plaid skirt. Yeah, you had all that stuff. You had all your books. You were now ready to go to school. You were getting ready to get ready. And let's say you want to exercise. What do? Well, you go, you might buy a new pair of shorts, new exercise gear. Maybe you buy a treadmill or you buy a piece of, you know, some weights or things like that. And you say, okay, now I'm going to do it. This year I'm going to do it. So I understand that. It's very comforting. You're telling yourself you are getting ready to do the thing. And people do that in voiceover as well. You know, guitar players have a disease I call GAS, which is guitar acquisition syndrome. So you buy a ton of guitars and you say, okay, now I'm a guitarist. You buy guitar picks, now I'm a guitarist. Same thing in voiceover. You have what I call mass microphone acquisition syndrome. You buy all the gears, you buy all the stuff. You get your space set up and you say, okay, now I'm ready, or I'm getting ready to get ready. I'm doing my website, I'm getting my business cards together. Well, the problem is this can take weeks, years, months and months and months, just keep going on and on and on. You are just forever in getting ready mode. I call this GRTGR, G-R-T-G-R, you know, getting ready to get ready. So you're forever getting ready and you're never doing the thing because you're focusing on the what, the product, before you give any thought to who is this for. And the product in voiceover, of course, you're thinking, well, it's me, but it's my demo, it's my website, it's my home studio, my ability to record for people, maybe it's my turnaround time, but none of those things are going to put money in your pocket and make you an actual working voiceover talent. So what I teach is that we need to flip that whole thing on its head and start with the who. You know, who are we for? Because, as I say, there are 14 niche markets. There are literally hundreds of thousands of people who hire voiceover talent. I made a note. I think, where did I put it? I put it over here somewhere. It's down here. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, hundreds of thousands of people that are hiring voice talent. It's just phenomenal. You know, that's really what's new in our business is that with the internet, with the digital world, there are more opportunities than ever for things to talk to you. And even though we can do synthesized speech, and actually a human being needs to be the voice of synthesized speech, like I am for a lot of different applications, things are talking to you more than ever, and there's just more media channels than ever, all of them requiring voice talent. So the opportunity is huge, but people then think, okay, I'm just going to throw myself in that pool and put my demo out there, and somebody is going to miraculously find me. And unfortunately, it just doesn't work that way. You are going to have very, very poor results, if none at all. To really be successful in voiceover, you must specialize, and that is my next key point that I want to make here, which are the three key distinctions that will help you nail the best voiceover opportunities. First distinction, and you can write that right on your handout, is you must specialize. You cannot be all things to all people. I mean, I understand that. It seems logical. If I kind of show enough range, show enough versatility, go to my website, there's 20 different demos, you know, there'll be something for everybody. But really, you're going to have the fastest and the best results if you are for somebody specific, if you specialize in a particular niche market. So the second point is you must know which of these top niches is best for you, easiest for you, and you want to own that niche. So let me give you the example. Now there are 14 niches, but I'm going to give you like the top 4, you know, where a lot of people are working these days. So number 1, and I don't know if it's literally number 1, but a very popular, very successful niche is audiobooks. Man, is that booming. It really is. Like every week I see a new a new article about audiobooks and how it's taking everybody by storm with Audible and ACX, the Audiobook Creation Exchange. Audible's making it easier than ever for you to download an audiobook, and just about everybody who's writing a book these days creates an audiobook. And just to give you a little quick story, so here at the Great Voice Company, I recently hired a new audio engineer, and I was actually flooded with resumes from kids who work locally here in New Jersey and are working for some of the big audiobook production companies. And just judging from the number of resumes I got from these freelance audio engineers, I was like, man, they are busy. And they told me, how many audiobooks they're editing every week, and there are really several hundred of these kids working for these big audiobook production companies. So it's just a huge growing industry. When I go into some of the pay-to-play sites, I take a look, like VO Planet is one that gets a lot of opportunities for audiobooks, and you see they're looking for the right talent. And they pay $3,000, $4,000 for an audiobook perhaps. Now, this niche is not right for everybody, so do not flock here. I don't do audiobooks, and I'll tell you why. I'm going to take a sip of water first. The reason I don't do audiobooks is that they do take a lot of time. I'm a busy person. I have a lot going on. And when you sign on to do an audiobook, we're really talking about weeks of work, sometimes months of work, depending on how quickly the publisher wants the book and what the requirements are. Now, for some people, that's great. They love it, and they're perfectly happy to record 2, 3, 4 hours a day from their home studio, or an hour a day over a longer period of time. And the amount of time you need to spend recording the book depends on what the producer needs, and they all have different requirements. But let's say you're going to record 2 hours a day, and they do it in the evening, and they're having a ball, and they are editing what they've done that day, and they send it on to the publisher. So for some people, that's great. I personally just don't have the time or the inclination to do that. So that is not a great niche for me. It might be perfect for you, though. And the wonderful thing about audiobooks is that there are niches within niches. So there's science fiction, there's fantasy fiction, there's even Christian romance. I know this because of one of our coaching members is actually a talent for the Christian romance niche. She called them a Christian bodice ripper, and I said, oh, what do? They only open the top button of the dress, right? It's all discreet. But there are many, many different categories within audiobooks that you can specialize in, niches within niches. So that might float your boat. It might be great for you. Another niche, which is kind of evergreen, one that I have worked in quite successfully and continue to work in throughout my career, is called corporate. It's non-broadcast, and it's a huge, billions and billions of dollars are spent on this. And you have everything from, medical narrations, which actually is a sub-niche, to phone system work, to training videos and things like that. So it's anything that is done by a corporation, either for internal or external consumption, that is not broadcast on television or radio. And what's nice about this niche is typically they're casting right off of demos. Sometimes they audition, sometimes they don't. There's a lot of repeat business. So I like it. It's worked out very, very well for me. Another niche that of course is evergreen, it's never going to go away, is commercials. It's a top niche, continues to be so. One of the downsides of that niche is that it requires auditions. So a lot of that auditioning you see going on is for commercials, and some isn't, but a lot of it is. And the jobs are shorter, which is appealing for people. You can kind of knock those out pretty quickly, and there's the potential, if it's a union spot, for residuals, which everybody loves too. And then the fourth hot niche right now is e-learning, which is, as I said, is a subset of corporate work, where corporations are taking their trainers off of the road, and all the training nowadays is done virtually. It's done digitally, and those can be quite extensive. I know we had a student that actually had a job that lasted an entire year. It was a lot of recording of training materials. He made almost 6 figures for that particular application. It's a very technical niche training market. So e-learning is very big. It's well paid and very popular. So those are the 4 main niches, I would say, these days. And there are 10 others. that I talk about in my program, like the Inner Game of Voiceover Marketing and Mindset program, which I'll be telling you, giving you an opportunity to participate in just a little bit. But right now, I want to take a break and ask you guys to participate and ask me some questions. And everybody that asks a question, we're going to send a gift, which is this really cool little microphone pin. And I tell you, the best question, in addition to getting in that microphone pin, is going to get this cool inflatable mic, which is a wonderful, it's actually for singers, but we can cross out the super singer and put down super voice talent. But this is cool. If anything, you know, just to knock some sense into your head, remind yourself to call people, to pick up the phone and market your services. But we'll do that for the best question that we get, the best questions that we get. And you know what? If you don't have a question, you can answer this little trivia question, and that is, tell me 3 of Mel Blanc's most famous characters. So who is Mel Blanc? Mel Blanc was a famous, wonderful animation voice talent. And this is a really easy question, but you should, and you know what, you can even look it up online. But I want to know who 3 of his greatest characters were, and I want to get questions. And here comes Christina with the first stack of questions, which is great. I love these questions. Oh, look at this. Great list. Okay. So hi, Tom England. Tom England asks, how do you determine your best niche? Well, I have a whole method for doing that, and I'll give you like the quick overview for that, Tom. And I think a lot of people have this question. So the first thing you have to take a look at is, what is your time constraint like? So for example, I said I don't want to really do audiobooks because I'm a busy person, so I'm going to knock that niche out right away, because the time constraint, it just really takes a long time to narrate a book. I mean, there may be 5 to 8 finished hours of audio. I'm listening to a great book right now, which is called it's called A Lean Startup, and the author is narrating it. But it's about 5 hours of narrated audio, and that means it took him, the metric, guys, is like at least 3 to 1, more like 5 to 1. So for a 5-hour book, he probably worked on that for a good 15 to 20 hours. I just don't have that kind of time, so I'm going to knock that out. So Tom, you need to take a look at what your time is like. Number 2, look at what you've specialized in. I don't have any information about what your day job has been, what skills you bring to the table, but here's a perfect example. Let's say you come from medicine. So maybe if you haven't worked in medicine, maybe you know about that industry, maybe you've sold to that profession. Well, you probably know how to read the technical terminology. That niche would be a no-brainer. You see, Tom? You want to actually take a look at which niches are going to be kind of no-brainer for me. If you're very animated, if you have an acting background, commercials might be good. If you're a fluid reader, well, by all means, go to the non-broadcast niche, because those are very text-heavy. If you're not a fluid reader, but you're a great actor, maybe commercials are better. You see what I'm saying? So it's a decision you make based on the amount of time you have, your voice type, your availability for auditions, and your interest, actually, too. So we had a doctor that we worked with, a very successful doctor in one of our coaching programs, and we thought, oh, medical narrations for sure, and he said, no! Don't give me any medical narrations. He really wanted to do animation. So sometimes you have a burning desire as well. So all those things have to be taken into consideration. Next question is from MZ Flavor. I love that name. What a great name. How much training is required before booking your first voiceover job? Well, it's a great question. I mean, you absolutely need training to do this, right? I mean, just like very few people are born knowing how to do voiceover. Nobody is, really. There are 2 oars to your training, MZ. The first is your skill set. And it does take a while to learn how to interpret copy so you don't sound like reading. Now, there are people that will go out and book something right away just because somebody liked the tone of their natural voice, but that is really a crapshoot. It really, really is. To have a sustainable career, you obviously need to understand about how to interpret copy in a way so that you don't sound like you're reading, so you can take direction, so you understand timing. A lot of people have problems breathing. They don't know where to breathe in the script. They don't know all about microphone technique. They don't understand about how to record themselves, and on and on and on. And then once they get the skill set down, they don't understand about marketing. And I have a resource for you coming up very soon. But MZ, if you're interested in training, we have our core career launcher program. We know people are busy. We know they want to get out into the marketplace as soon as possible. And typically our students are able, within 60 to 90 days, they're able to get their first demo completed and into the marketplace. And we realize that that's a first demo. Your demo is a work in progress, but at least that's enough. And they're really coming out well with our coaches. We have a phenomenal coaching team that works with you. But after that initial, I would say 60 to 90 days, if you apply yourself, you'll have a great professional demo. You can begin to market it, and then as you are working in progress, you'll be improving yourself. You might do another demo, you know, a year later, and you're upgrading yourself as you go along. I hope that answers your question. Dan Cording asks, what should I expect a coach to charge for help creating a 90-second demo? Well, I can tell you what your investment is if you work with us. I don't know what other people charge, but I know that with us, we typically don't just do demos for people because most people are not ready. You want to make sure that you are ready to go into the studio and you can take direction well, and you do a demo that is properly niched. We had that whole niche conversation a minute ago. So in our case, our Career Launcher program is an investment of approximately $3,500, depending on which, you know, whether you want to pay in full or in advance. And for that money, we include, it's a very comprehensive training. With that, like I said, it's like about a 90-day window. And we asked our members, we asked people like you guys what you wanted. You said you wanted private coaching, and you also wanted an opportunity to come live and work with us in a boot camp, and you wanted your demo. So we put a package together which includes a number of private coaching sessions to help where we assign a coach that works with you one-on-one by phone or by Skype. And then that coach then will direct your demo. You will go into a local recording studio. They direct it. We do all the post-production with our very experienced, award-winning audio production staff here at the Great Voice Company, and you'll have your demo. And then you come to one of our boot camps. We do 4 every year. And that program is the core of our training, and people really love it, and they're having really great success with that. Somebody says, okay, Yol Al, something like that. Oh, all these questions, this is great. All these people, by the way, are going to get microphone pins, really cool little microphone pins, and the best one gets the cool inflatable microphone. But anyway, Al says, can I maintain, I want to launch my voiceover business, however, I want to keep my online identity private until I actually have some credits. I work in a professional environment, might not support opening a business. I believe in marketing, but I want to keep my new business to myself and my new world until it's appropriate. Can I maintain a professional identity in one space as I build another? Hey, why not? This is America. Why not? And that's the great thing about voiceover. Nobody needs to know what you look like. Sure, go for it. Just create a voiceover name that's different from your other name. Lucia says, great series. You said the announcer type voice was not popular. However, I'm currently working in that capacity as the voice of a mobile phone company in Canada. Congratulations, Lucia. That is really cool. I have a British accent, usually cast in that capacity, and my demo reflects this. However, I'm adept at accents and cartoon characters. Should I stick to my most requested archetype voice? Well, I tell you, if you're doing a phone system and all of a sudden you launch into a cartoon voice, they're not going to like that. However, this is what I would do, because I know what you're feeling. You feel, okay, the world knows me one way, but I have all these other cool things that I could do. Just handle that on your website. You go, create demos. And what I would do, Lucia, I would create a separate cartoon demo and a separate, like I know a particular actress who is British, but she does a flawless U.S. English. So she has one demo with a British voice and one with a U.S. English voice, but they're separate demos, and she indicates that on her site, and you would do that with cartoons as well. So you just never know what your customers are going to want. I don't think it's a problem or an issue at all, as long as it's clearly labeled and it's on your website. All right, so my friend Michael Walton from Brazil says, to convince the potential client that our voiceover service is worth contracting many times. The client's absolutely no idea what a professional narration should sound like. Can you convince them to pay really what you really need? That's a problem many voiceover artists face. The lack of perception of quality of voice is an obstacle. So in other words, look, Michael and everybody, there's some people who are what I call price buyers. To them, a voice is a voice is a voice. They just want to pay the lowest price. And you know, so some people will do it for $5. I say, go, just tell the customer. In your mind, you have to say, this is not my customer. Let them go. They are a bargain shopper. Let them go, Michael. Let them go. But you need to find the people, and it's not impossible. They're out there that recognize quality and will pay for what you're worth. So, and really, realistically, we have found that, we let those price buyers go, but the majority of people understand that quality, reliability, trustworthiness is even more important than price. And I gave the example in the video series. I don't know if you saw that video yet. It was like the third one, I think, third or fourth one in the series, where I talked about the Oktoberfest fiasco, remember? Where we had a German voice talent that we hired for my production company hired for a job, and she just disappeared for like a week. I mean, to her, it was Oktoberfest. Everybody in Germany is partying, drinking beer, and blah, blah, blah. So you crazy Americans, all you do is work, 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 Well, we'll never work with her again. And so obviously we're not her customer, and she's not our client. So Michael, you just have to try harder to find people that understand what quality stands for. And I know you work in Brazil. That is a tough country. I've been there. I know that the economics are totally different. I go there twice a year. But there's nothing that stops you from marketing your services outside of Brazil. It is an international global marketplace, and we probably have some people watching today that are around the world. So go for it. Don't be shy to hold yourself to a higher standard. So Marilyn Norwood Brooks says, what type of scripts should be used on demo CDs, and what time allocation should the demo consist of? Shorter the better, Marilyn. Really, 90 seconds tops. 60 seconds is probably fine. What we do when we produce demos is we try to find 5 really good selections that represent the talent and show you off at your best. And our coaches work with you to find those 5 scripts for you, and we will shorten them. I'm going to sneeze. Hold on. Yeah, it's live. Live. All right. So you're gonna find probably 4 to 5 selections, and you're gonna shorten them so just the best part of the script gets recorded and used on the demo. So Ray, hi Ray Callahan. So Ray has just joined our Career Launcher program. It's coming to our boot camp in June, coming up June 21st, 22nd, with a tech check on June 23rd. Can't wait to meet you, Ray. So Ray says, what about voiceover websites? Oh my goodness, I have so much to say about that, and Ray, we'll talk a lot about that when you come live and you're working with us, and I'll have a lot of examples to show you. But here's the deal with voiceover websites. The main purpose of your website is your demos. You want to hang your demos someplace that's really easy for people to go to and find, because a lot of clients get annoyed when we're emailing large audio files. They don't want to open them. They're afraid of viruses. So your demo, really, the purpose of your website is really to have easy to access players for your demos. That's how I see it. I use SoundCloud on mine, and you guys can go over to SusanBerkley.com. I just redid my website, and so you'll see what I mean. I kept it really, really simple. with some key testimonials, my demos on one side. I didn't get fancy with the graphics. I think, Ray, the most important thing is you don't want to spend a lot of money on the website. You really don't need to. You can actually even put one up for free on YouTube. So there. Okay, so Sacha says, how much should I spend on my demo? What's reasonable? Well, again, I just answered your question. You don't have to spend a penny, Sacha. Put it up on, not your demo, I'm sorry. What's reasonable? I thought she was saying your website. So for a demo, there's no such thing as reasonable. What you spend, you have to spend what it takes to get a great demo. And I'm sorry, prices are all over the place. I described, we don't just do demos for people. We would if you came to us and you showed us that you have a lot of experience and you just need a demo. But for most people, we're going to prepare you and really help you get ready for that demo. So the answer is it depends. I'm sorry. Give us a call. Speak to Mark, 800-333-8108, and he'll talk to you all about doing what we do for demos. So Joseph Ferraro says, in today's society, litigation is kind of a way of life. How do you protect yourself as a voiceover artist? Do you have business insurance or what? Joe, you don't need to worry. You really don't. I mean, read a book by my friend Rob Siglimpaglia. It's called Voiceover Legal. It's an ebook. If you look for it on Amazon, I'm sure you'll find it. It's called Voiceover Legal, and you will find everything you need to know. I'm going to sneeze again. I'm sorry. It's allergy season. Okay. So you'll find Voiceover Legal. Rob will answer your questions about what you need to be aware of. You don't need special insurance. You don't need, to incorporate yourself if you're a beginner. Just go out and do it. So again, this question, and I really get where you're coming from, and I get this question a lot. It goes into the category of getting ready to get ready, and because you're nervous about starting, you start worrying about all these other things that really have very little to do with whether or not you're going to be successful. So I really wouldn't worry about it, but read Voiceover Legal anyway, and tell Rob I sent you. Okay. Lisa says, is it important to get an agent? I've been doing audiobooks for the past 2 months, but I'd also like to do commercials. Well, that's great, Lisa. Congratulations. Look, an agent is a marketing partner. So I've done very, very well in my career without them. And I have a number of agents that I work with now. So they're marketing partners. Just because you have an agent doesn't mean you're going to book work. An agent's going to give you auditions, and auditions are not jobs. So I hope that answers your question. Nick Chilton, and by the way, all you guys who are asking these great questions are going to get a prize. We're going to send you a cool little microphone pin or one of these inflatable mics, huh? So thank you very much for participating. This is great. I'm loving your participation. So Nick says, before building a home studio, what options are there to record a demo or send an interview audition? Do independent studios do this? Yeah, so look, these are two separate questions. Do not record your voiceover demo from home. What makes a great demo is the direction that you get, and it's likely that as a beginner you're not going to have good enough audio quality to record a demo at home. So two separate things. Yes, you need a studio, meaning you don't need to physically build a studio, but you need a really good sounding USB mic, you need software, and you need to be able to record in a relatively soundproof or sound treated environment so your audio sounds good when you send out auditions. And you're going to find a local recording studio. When we work with you, we give you guidelines for finding that. You're going to go there, you're going to record the voice tracks under the direction of our coach, and then you record your voice tracks there, and we do the post-production here. And again, give us a call if that's not clear. Lucia says that I talk about marketing being the key factor for success in voiceover. However, she's in 2 unions, Canadian ACTRA, which is the Canadian version of SAG-AFTRA, and British Equity. Good for you. She has a talent agent in Toronto, unable as a union member to solicit non-union work. To whom am I marketing my services? The foreign and U.S. markets. Look, you can solicit work. You just, if it's non-union, you have to make it legal. by going through a paymaster. This is an advanced concept that for most people on the Hangout today isn't going to make sense. But you can, just to be short, Lucia, you can put the jobs through a third party and make it legal. So you can still go out and find the work yourself. I hope that makes sense. If not, call us offline. We'll clarify for you. How often should you make new demos? When your demo starts to sound tired and out of date. There's no rules. Sometimes you make a great demo, it lasts for years. Sometimes it sounds out of date in a year from now. So the answer is it depends. All right, I'm gonna keep going through my my handout here and cover some of the things that I wanted to share with you today, and then I'll go back and answer some more questions. And I'm loving your questions, by the way. So thank you so much for that. So we talked about the niche markets. This next point I want to make in this handout, which is a key distinction that will help you nail the best voiceover opportunities, just to review, because there are three right here on your handout. So first I wanted to say that the #1 career-killing mistake is that the who is more important than the what, the who you're marketing to. The what is you and your stuff, so you really want to give some thought about the end user. The three key distinctions are, #1, you must specialize. We talked about that. #2, you have to figure out which of the top niches is right for you. Is it audiobooks? Is it corporate? Is it commercials? Is it e-learning? Or any one of the 10 other niches? There's 14 in all. And #3 is this. And I want you to write this down. Auditions equal Vegas, Las Vegas. Auditions are like Las Vegas, the lottery, the casino, the slots. So if you want to run your career like playing the lottery, that's up to you. But I don't want to do that. Yet, tens of thousands, I don't know how many tens, thousands and thousands of people are in the pay-to-play services only doing that. Write this down. The big idea, fill in the blank. Pay-to-play is not a business model. Pay-to-play is not a business model. So what do I mean by pay-to-play? I mean like voices.com, Voice123, VO Planet. These are great sites, and I love the people that have these sites. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't use them. But don't delude yourself in thinking that just because you're registered for one of the pay-to-play services, you're done. And now, all you do is audition and sit back and wait for the work to fall out of the sky. It's just not going to happen, my friend. It is not going to happen. Pay-to-play is not a business model. Voice123 is not your business model. Voices.com should not be your only source of leads. It's great for them, and now this I was very shocked last week, okay? The good people at Voices.com were featured in the Toronto Globe and Mail. So hi Canadians, you know what I'm talking about. That's a major newspaper in Canada. And you can look this up online. You should go find this article. They were featured in there. And they are wonderful entrepreneurs. That business, she says right in the article, is grossing about over $4 million a year, and they're aiming for $6 million this year. So where are they making their money? They're making their money from all the people signing up to be in Voices.com, and they take a percentage of any of the jobs that come through there. Okay, so people are booking, but you're there along with thousands of other voice talent. Those are really long odds. They're tall odds. So I'm not saying don't do it, but understand that you're going to have a much better chance defining and developing your own contacts in a niche that you are better suited for, that you specialize in. And again, in just a little while, I'll have some resources for you to get help with this, because I know it's on your mind. But I specialize in helping people with this, market themselves and create targeted, specialized, personalized marketing plans for your voiceover career. This is a big opportunity for you. Top voice artists are making, 6 figures a year, even a high 5-figure salary, or maybe they just want to make a few extra thousand a year to supplement their income. You can do that. But again, you're not going to do that in the voiceover casinos. pulling that one-arm bandit, auditioning and auditioning and auditioning, playing the lottery every day, every week. I want something a lot more reliable than that. So that's why I put together my Inner Game of Voiceover Marketing and Mindset program. And I just want to take just really, really quick, tell you a little bit about that opportunity, and then we'll get back into your wonderful questions and keep them coming, because I have prizes. Got great prizes. Cool little microphone pins, inflatable mics for those people who answer questions. So what is the Inner Game of Voiceover Marketing and Mindset event program that we're running right now, the home study coaching program? So last year, I put on an event in Atlanta. We had a great group of people fly in from all over the world to attend. And what I did was I walked everybody through what I call my Monetize Your Voice formula. And together people completed many of their actual marketing pieces while they were at the event. So what I did is I video and I audio taped everything. And I put together, because I know you're pressed for time, I grabbed the highlights of those 3 days, and I put the videos into a course, a program, and so over 5 weeks you will get a new module every week with highlight videos from that Inner Game event we did last year, which is going to teach you how to market yourself step by step by step, all about finding the best leads, how to promote yourself, how to do a great voiceover website that stands out, and on and on and on. Everything you need. Plus, I get into the mindset stuff, because what I've discovered doing this now professionally for like 30 years and having my own voiceover business and being a working talent every single day and running my own production company is that you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't deal with your head trash, as we call it, you're just not going to get anywhere. You really absolutely need to understand how to keep yourself motivated and deal with the gremlins that are going to impede your success. So I have a lot of great information to share with you along those lines. You've probably heard me talk about my mentor, Dr. Kepi, Norberto Kepi from Brazil, who taught me so much over the past decades about how to be successful. And my business speaks for itself. You know, I've been here for a long time doing this and doing this successfully. So if you'd like to get in on this opportunity, you can do that. You have until Friday to decide. You just go to vomindsetevent.com. That's vomindsetevent.com. It's on the handout we gave you, and it's right here on the page. And you can join us. And I want to talk to you a little bit about some bonuses that we're adding that were not originally on the page. The first bonus is that we're going to add, if you register, we're going to give you, in addition to the video highlights, the complete unedited audio downloadable of the entire 3-day event. This is an unadvertised bonus. We're going to put all the audio files, MP3s, up there, because I know a lot of you want to listen on your iPad, you want to listen in your car while you work out, and you know, driving hither and yon to get the information. That's what I do. I'm like a big audio learner. So we're giving you that benefit. And the other thing that we're going to do, because your investment in this program is $497, that's your best deal. But if you need to put it on a payment plan, we're going to let you do 6 monthly payments of $97 a month. And hopefully that will be helpful for you. If you just click the Add to Cart link on the page at vomindsetevent.com, you can sign up. You'll see it on the order form, and you can get those monthly payments and get started right away working on seriously turning your voice, making it a viable business for you, so you don't have to have that day job you hate. Or maybe you just are already retired, you want some security, you want that second income, or you want something really cool and fun to do. You can get that through this Inner Game of Voiceover program, because I'm telling you, this just being on those pay-to-plays is not going to cut it for you. I have not, you might end up complaining after a year, and just working on your skill set and learning how to audition just a little bit better or perform a little bit better than everybody else is not going to do it for you. I know. All right? So let me get back to some of your questions, which are really great, and please keep them coming. You're going to email your questions to info@greatvoice.com. Speak to Christina, and she will hand the questions to me. So Reggie says, so again, where do I go to find an agent? Again, Reggie, are you ready? Do you have your demo? Do you have your marketing plan? We have on our site at greatvoice.com, we have an agent guide. We will gladly, I think we're offering it for like $1 plus shipping. It's really, really inexpensive. So you can go there, or you can go to VoiceBank. You'll find there's over 300 voiceover agents, so voicebank.net. But again, if you don't have a professionally produced demo, if you have not been trained, if you're not ready, you're wasting your time going after an agent. They're just not going to be interested in you. It's hard to get their attention. You're much better off following my Monetize Your Voice marketing program, developing your own leads, your own contacts within niches that are best for you. And that's what that whole 3-day training is about. So James Hall says, I've got a bad case of Gridker. Getting ready to get ready. I'm sorry, James. What mindset techniques can I use to light a fire under myself to get this going? I don't consider myself a novice. He spent 20 years working every day on radio. Hey, I've spent 15 years working every day on radio. I get it. He's voiced hundreds of spots, doing side work in corporate voice. He's got loads of old tapes laying around, never compiled an actual demo, and really itching to do this for a living. Hey, congratulations. Radio people make great voice talent. Once you get rid of the announcer sound in your voice, maybe you don't have it, but clearly you're a microphone professional. So look, I highly, highly suggest you follow my Monetize Your Voice system. James, I'm going to take you by the hand, make this really easy for you. If you go to vomindsetevent.com, you've got the whole thing laid out for you. And did I tell you I'm giving 2 coaching, I'll be there live twice. I'm doing 2 group coaching calls as part of that series to answer your questions as you're going through the program. But really, you need a plan. You need to approach this as if it's a business. Somebody to hold your hand, take you step by step through the actionable things that you start to build your own prospect and contact list. That's what I'm here for. I got it all figured out. Okay. I hope that that we get to work together, because you deserve it, James. You really, really do. Okay. So Tom says, well, are there any good free audition sites, or are they all pay to play? You can audition all you want, Tom. Why do you want to do more auditions? Don't you want to work? See, this is the thing that a lot of people, I'm completely puzzled. Most actors, all they want to do is audition. You don't need more auditions. You need jobs. So forget about the sites. You don't want a free audition site. You want customers. So again, not to be self-serving, but with my Monetize Your Voice system, you're going to learn how to get customers. So customers you don't even need to audition for. So when they're ready to buy, you are the obvious choice. Doesn't that sound great? I mean, that's how I built my business, really, and that's how you can build yours. So Sandy says, how soon after making a contact with a potential client should I follow up to say, thanks for listening to my voiceover? Okay, so if they're a potential client, if you've auditioned for somebody, you're not even going to know who they are most of the time, so you won't be able to thank them for listening. If you know who they are, hey, shoot them an email, no problem. I would do it right after. If they've hired you, if you've done a job for somebody, we have a whole process that we use afterwards. So the first thing we do is immediately after we do the job, we call the customer, we make sure they received it okay, they're happy with it. We will send a thank you gift if it's our first job. And then on a regular basis, say monthly, we will continue to keep in touch by postcards and maybe quarterly gifts if they're a really big customer. So you can never say thank you enough, Sandy. I mean, the worst that'll happen is if you email somebody to thank, they won't open the email. But it's fine. Nobody will ever get upset that you thank them. Okay? Don't be shy. Aiken in New Jersey says, is it a good thing to listen to your voice after recording? Somehow it doesn't sound like me. Aiken, you know what? It took me many, many years of getting paid for speaking on radio before I realized my voice was probably okay. And I really spent many years in, dreading somebody calling me up and saying it's all been a horrible, terrible mistake. Because the reason is we listen to our heads from in our voice from inside our head, where the way your voice is actually distorted by the bones of your skull. So you grow up thinking you sound a certain way, but the way you sound recorded is actually the way you sound to others. So don't go mental. Don't worry if you don't like the sound of your voice. It really doesn't matter. It only matters to the people who pay you, right? So you don't have to love your own voice to go ahead and do voiceover. And I got one more question, and if you haven't asked your question yet, why don't you feel free to to just email it to Chris at info@greatvoice.com. We've got about 5 more minutes, and so I'm going to answer Sasha's question, and if we don't have any more, I'll say goodbye to today. But right now, Sasha wants to know, what if I have a motherly, nurturing voice and also some animated voices? I think cartoons and audiobooks. What do you think? But that's 2 niches. Well, look, you can have more than one niche, Sasha. And don't underestimate that there are mothers on animated cartoons. Take a listen to today's cartoons. They're not that crazy Looney Tunes stuff that we heard when we were kids. I mean, a lot of them are real people voices and actually real actors. So if you listen to some of those cartoons, and especially the ones that are playing for adults, you can use your motherly nurturing voice on both, right? Okay. All right. So one more point I want to make, and if maybe we'll get one more or 2 questions coming in, but how do you my last point, thanks Chris, my last point is how do I embrace a core reality of today's voiceover business that many people resist, but there's no way around it. So what is that core reality? And it is, if you want to make any money in voiceover, you have to be as good at relationship building, at sales and marketing as you are at performing. So don't be scared of that. Don't flip out. Take the bull by the horns. Follow my Monetize Your Voice system. Go on over to vomindsetevent.com and let me help you. This is what I did. That made me a very wealthy woman in voiceover. Early on, I got lucky. I got an inspiration that I should study sales and marketing, and I did, and it really, really paid off big time. And of course, with my VO Mindset event, I make it fun. I really do. You saw my posts. You know I'm not like a boring college professor. So I want to take you by the hand. I want to help you out. I want you to be my next success story with an easy payment plan. There's really no excuse not to invest in yourself. Really, this is an investment in yourself, your future, your family's future. You don't do this for yourself. Who else will? What is going to change if you keep auditioning and auditioning and auditioning and expecting different results? If anything, it's going to be harder and harder because more and more people are coming onto those pay-to-play sites. So there'll be more and more competition. You want to create markets where there is no competition. In other words, make relationships with people, as I teach you how to do, so you don't even need to audition. That was what worked for me. A couple more questions. Let's see. And Satya says, would the boot camp help not spending all my time marketing and more voice acting? Okay, so we also do a voiceover boot camp where we're live, and that is about the skills part of voiceover. We spend a really fun, awesome 3 days together in the recording studio playing on state-of-the-art equipment. You're directed by me and producer Adriana Davis for 3 days in the studio. That's that performance part of your career. The marketing part is this inner game of voiceover program that I'm offering. So both of them are necessary, and they're great. They work great together to make you very, very successful. Sylvia has a performance question. She says, I have a 2-year-old laptop I use for personal and soon for my voiceover business with viruses. Should I be looking to invest in a separate laptop dedicated to audio recording and archiving? I'm going to make this even easier for you, Sylvia. You don't need to change your computer, but what you should have is an external hard drive. And they're really, really inexpensive. I don't know if you have a PC or a Mac, but they're inexpensive. So what you're going to do is you're going to store all your audio files off your work computer on that separate external hard drive. That way nothing becomes infected. Infected audio files are big, they take up a lot of space. It's really great practice to do all your audio work on a separate hard drive connected to your present computer. So you really don't have to do anything different or invest in that. Last question from Jennifer. I'm an American living abroad. Hey, Jennifer, doing voiceover for over 10 years. I want to market myself abroad. Are there others doing this that you know of, and how can I do that outside of North America? Okay, so for everybody. People is people. Marketing works the same. I don't care where you're living. You start with your niche. You determine where they hang out. Remember, the who is more important than the what. That's the first thing. You got to understand your market. So Jennifer, I don't know which country you're living in, but say it was Brazil. I might, since that's a country that I know, I would start out by finding out where the production companies are and getting to know the people that work there, right? And finding out what their needs are and who they're hiring and all of that. I'd start out by getting to know the customer, and then I would promote myself, and I would do it with regular follow-up marketing. All of this is part of my monetize your voice system. Again, it's kind of a general question. The more specific you get, the more I can help you. But we're out of time. It's an hour. It just flew by. So everybody that asked a question is going to get one of these really cool microphone pins. And I want to thank you all. But before I go, I just want to remind you to go on over to vomindsetevent.com. I'm going to walk you through the highlights of my 3-day marketing and mindset event. Starting next week, we release a new module on the course page every single week for the next 5 weeks. There are 2 live coaching calls for me. We're putting all the audio up there, and you're going to get both the videos and the audio on the course site, and you'll be able to download the audio. And we just added a payment plan. What's not to love? So you can take 6 months to pay for this program if you need to, because I really, really want to help you. I want to make sure that this time next year, you're not complaining and you're not frustrated, and you're happy, and you're really able to do what you love, which is express yourself using your voice, get paid for voice acting, have a wonderful career where you're the boss, working from home, living this great voiceover lifestyle. That's what I'm all about. I've helped so many people do that. I want to help you do that too. So thanks for joining me. It's been great to see you on this Google Hangout, and I really look forward to seeing you in one of our programs soon. I'm Susan Berkley, greatvoice.com. Thank you so much for watching.